Good afternoon, chairpersons, my colleagues and friends. I am presenting the case, a fatal case of radioactive injuries due to cobalt-60 exposure. Before plunging into the topic, I must highlight some facts about radioactivity. Radiation by definition is a process in which energetic particles or waves travel through a medium or space. This is called radiation. And basically radiations are categorized into two types. One is ionizing radiation, which have sufficient energy to ionize an atom, and another is non-ionizing radiation. The term radiation is commonly used in reference to ionizing radiation. Basically, there are 5 types of ionizing radiation: alpha, gamma, beta, neutron and X-rays. Coming to the alpha ionizing radiation, it is emitted during decay of a larger nuclei. This is identical to a helium nuclei, consists of 2 neutrons and 2 protons, has double positive charge, relatively high atomic mass, and is least penetrating. It does not penetrate the intact human skin, but if ingested or inhaled may lead to internal ionization, cell damage, cell death and development of cancer. Examples of some alpha emitters are radium, radon, uranium and thorium. Beta radiation originates from decay of neutrons. It is only an energetic electron. This is more ionizing than alpha radiation, can penetrate human skin. Examples of some pure beta emitters are strontium, carbon-14, tritium and sulfur-35. Coming to gamma, this is photon with frequency of greater than 10 to the power 19 Hz, have neither mass nor charge, have higher penetrating property. It can only be stopped by sufficiently thick layer of material with high atomic mass, that is lead or depleted uranium. Examples of some gamma emitters are iodine 131, cesium 137, cobalt 60, the present case, the radium 226 and technetium 99M. X-ray is similar to gamma radiation, but it has less energy and least penetrating. The hazards of radiation can be categorized into 2. That is effects of long-term chronic exposure that leads to cancer and congenital disorders, and effects of acute high-level exposure. It causes burn and radiation sickness. Radiation sickness is also called radiation poisoning. It can cause premature aging or even death. If the dose is fatal, death occurs usually within 2 months. The symptoms of radiation sickness include nausea, weakness, hair loss, skin burns or diminished organ function. In the body, actively dividing cells are most vulnerable. Coming to the present case, the history is like this. On 8th April 2010, 5 persons of a scarf shop fell ill after handling a mysterious shining object. The scarf dealer, who was more serious, was admitted to Apollo Hospital. The case was diagnosed as a case of radiation injury. The concerned hospital then informed the government authorities. Immediately, National Disaster Management Authority emergency response team rushed to the spot and the area was cordoned off by the police. Team from Bhabha Atomic Research Center and the Narora Atomic Power Plant reached the spot and started to search. Eventually, the scarf emitting the radiation was identified. It was identified as a gamma irradiator and the radioactive material as cobalt-60. The source was traced back to the chemistry laboratory of Delhi University. It was purchased for research purpose from Canada in 1968 and was not in use since 1985. And it was auctioned. The scarf dealer has purchased that. One of the scarf workers' condition worsened and the case was referred to AIIMS and was admitted on 9th April 2010. At the time of admission, this was the finding. There was history of exposure since last 2 weeks, history of gum bleeding 2 to 3 episodes per day since last 5 days, history of epistaxis 10 to 15 episodes per day since last 5 days, and on examination, a blackish discoloration of fingers and toes were observed, and a black spot over forearm and left shoulder was observed. At the time of admission, the vitals were stable. The hemogram profile was like this. And on the second day, the hemoglobin to TLC, platelets all decreased further. The condition diagnosed as a case of pancytopenia. The transfusion of packed RBCs, platelets started. On the 4th day of admission, the patient developed pneumonia. The etiology was established to be a fungal by a high resolution CT and bronchoalveolar lavage microscopy, which was further confirmed by the culture. Despite repeated transfusion of platelet, the hemogram profile did not improve. Bone marrow biopsy done and bone marrow suppression was diagnosed. Then the clinicians planned for bone marrow transplantation. For this, HLA typing of blood relatives were carried out. Despite vigorous treatment with antibiotics, febrile neutropenia regimen, systemic antifungals, repeated transfusions of packed RBCs, platelets, fluids, etc., the patient's condition kept on worsening. Gradually, he developed acute renal failure, ARDS, along with paralytic ileus, pyelonephritis, and pulmonary aspergillosis. The patient was shifted to ICU on the 15th day of admission, that is on 23rd of the April, and intubated and kept in total parenteral nutrition. Despite round-the-clock close monitoring in ICU and vigorous treatment, he succumbs to death on 26th of April. The cause of death mentioned in the international form of medical certificate of cause of death was like this: septic shock with sepsis. The total radiation dose was calculated in the deceased body as 1.8 gray by Bhabha Atomic Research Scientist, and the body was declared safe for further handling. The autopsy examination was carried out on the next day. The important autopsy findings were like this: a blackish patch on the right hand, sclera nails were yellowish discolored, pleural cavity shows effusion, and both lungs shows diffuse consolidation, and on cord section purulent exudates were observed. Peritoneal cavity showed effusions and stomach mucosa showed congestion and ulceration. And we have carried out the histopathologic examination of the heart, kidney, liver. On the heart, no abnormality was detected in histopathology. In kidney, congestion of the glomeruli, peritubular capillaries, and medulla was observed. There was patchy tubular atrophy was present, and on liver, there was no significant findings were observed. Only few areas showed signs of autolysis. The cause of death in the autopsy report was like this: shock due to septicemia. This was all about the case, but basing on the case, we will discuss certain points like general precautions, autopsy precautions during autopsy precautions, and embalming, where and how to do, or whether do or not in cases of radiation victims, disposal of the radioactive body by cremation or burial, and statutory bodies in India and the relevant acts. The general precautions in handling a radioactive corpse are like this: at all stages of handling the body, special radiation monitoring devices, badges should be used to monitor the exposure to the handlers. When a patient died during the treatment with radioactive material, the specialist medical officer concerned shall be responsible that exposure to radiation of any person handling the body subsequently is minimized. Any sealed radioactive sources other than the permanent implants must be removed by competent persons. These sealed radioactive sources are radioactive material containing capsules and rods which are implanted as a measure of radiotherapy in patients. This should be removed before transferring the body to the mortuary. And for autopsy, going for autopsy or disposal of the body, the radiation safety officer of the hospital at which treatment was given should be consulted. If a body contains less than 15 millicurie of iodine 131, the procedure normally observed during autopsy can be carried out. The body can be handled normally as well. When the radioactivity level is more, the body should be preserved in cold storage until the exposure dose rate at 1 meter from it is less than 2.5 milliradi per hour. But this preservation should be carried out with consultation with radioactive safety officer, and such areas should be labeled restricted zone. Coming to autopsy in particular, in autopsy, precautions similar to those used for infection control should be used. That is the gloves, face shields, gowns, when the radioactive level is less than 15 millicurie. Every effort shall be made to minimize contamination. and any contamination should be removed immediately. To reduce the exposure to the mortuary attendants and the doctors, proper distance should be maintained. Don't handle the viscera's organs directly, rather use forceps and instruments, and the contact time should be kept minimum. Any sealed source should be removed by block dissection. If there is any sealed source is left in the body, it should be removed by block dissection. If it is known that the radioactive material used for treatment have been selectively absorbed in a particular organ, that is iodine 131, in the thyroid, the organ should be excised before the examination proceeds and removed from the work area. It may later be disposed of with the body. Radiation safety officer should be consulted if and when necessary during autopsy. And the embalming, coming to embalming, it is causes an undesirable hazard and should be avoided if possible. In cases of radioactive bodies, this should be avoided and should not be carried out if the residual activity in the cadaver exceeds 15 millicurie. But if there are special reasons to do embalming, the radiation safety officer should be consulted in all cases, and simple injection method should be used. Embalmer should wear disposable gloves, protective clothing and face protectors. And the cremation, coming to the question, cremation and burial. No specific precaution are necessary for the cremation of cadaver containing not more than 15 millicurie of iodine 131. Cadavers containing labels in excess of these values should never cremated, because cremation releases toxic fumes which is harmful to the crematorium workers and also the near relatives. Where the body has excess radioactive material, for cremation purpose that can be preserved until the 15 millicurie level is achieved. For burial, precautions to be taken may be classified according to the 3 levels of activity remaining at the time of burial. Residual activity up to 15 millicurie if the body has. No special precaution is required. The body can be handled as a normal dead body. Residual activity if 15 to 30 millicurie. Contact between relatives, body handler should be controlled. The body should be marked with radiation symbol and all contacted objects should be tested for contamination. If the residual activity is 30 to 300 millicurie, relatives must be prevented from coming in contact with the body. All persons who handle the body must be monitored for their personal dose rate by means of pocket dosimeter. All objects, clothes must be tested for contamination. The cadaver should be wrapped in a plastic foil immediately after death. In these cases, the cadaver should be immediately wrapped in plastic foil and it should be never be handled without disposable protective gloves. In India, these are the statutory bodies, and I will also tell you about the legislations. The statutory highest body is Atomic Energy Regulatory Board. The mission of the board is to ensure that the use of ionizing radiation and nuclear energy in India does not cause undue risk to the health and the environment. Under this AERB, there is a safety review committee for application of radiation. It specifically deals with the hospitals and industries. It enforces radiation safety in medicals, industrial and research institutions which use radiation and radioactive sources. And also Bhabha Atomic Research Center plays a very important role in radiation safety procedures. The constant legislations are Atomic Energy Act, which was passed in 1962, and the Environment Protection Act, which was passed in 1986. But till date, there is no guideline in India regarding handling of radioactive dead bodies. All guidelines I have taken from international guideline, which is applied in UK and Australia. So there need to be a stringent uniform guideline which need to be followed in all hospitals for handling radioactive dead bodies. With this I complete. Thank you.